Greetings, I am Pillar Nexus, the Ancient Gladiator, today with Pillar Lunch Tabletop Games, covering the expansion for Galaxy Trucker. Keep on trucking. So, what gets added in the expansion? We've got new ships, new adventure cards, new components, a couple new titles, some extra components, and the Rough Roads card. Alright. So, let's go over everything in the order that's featured in the actual book. Starting with new adventure cards. We've got junkyards, a different one for each level. First one there gets to decide what they're willing to pay and what they're going to get out of it. So there's cannon fire, meteors, losing crew, losing the good, or having to pay other costs, like losing flight days, or losing a whole lot of stuff. But what you get out the other side is worth quite a bit. Goods, money, batteries, maybe even flight days. If you pick a row, no one else can pick it. You can only do it if you can take uh, the cost. There's the Meteor Vortex cards, one for each level. When they are revealed, each player chooses a side to ignore by placing your ship there. The leader will roll for each meteor, but you're not affected by the side you choose. So think about where you've got smooth sides and shields for the little ones, or cannons for the big ones. And then more of a variety, we have the antitrust check, where having the most cannons, double cannons, boosters, and double boosters, um, or engines, uh, will cause you to give up one component of that type. To prevent the component hogs um, from prospering. We've got wide open space. It's basically open space, but now it's double. Again, if you have no engine power, um, you're basically done here. And then there's bad day. Depending on what flight you're on, whether it's a level one, a level two, or level three, that's how bad it is. It starts with the pandemic, and then potentially goes into sabotage, and then potentially goes into stardust. Yes, it's happening in the worst possible order. Losing crew, then least crew gets component blown up, which means more exposed connectors for stardust. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty brutal. But that'll expand out the adventures quite a bit. New technology. So new tiles will be added, but then a number of tiles will need to be removed from the combined set of the base and the mixed, or the expansion one, based on the number of players. Half if it's a two-player game, a third if it's a three-player game, a fourth if it's a four-player game. What I imagine you would do is mix up the tiles and then put them into like deal one to a pile, to a number of piles equal to a number of players, and then randomly remove one of them. And then um, probably mix them back in later. the ones that I removed, mix them back in, and then start over. Although if you're doing the transgalactic trek, you're supposed to uh, not mix them back in. But I think getting a little bit more chaotic can be fun too. So what do we got in these new components? We've got indestructible plating. It's just it's just immune to being destroyed. It's something you can count on to survive from that direction. Um, Boosters. Okay, these are the actual boosters here. So cannon boosters require a booster of that type joined onto it. Then you have to spend a battery to boost up to three components of the corresponding type. They have to be directly connected or connected to a component that also is also using it. Let me see if there's a better way to set this up. Let's see. Uh, that looks silly. There. To cannon to another cannon. Um, it can't boost an inactive component. Like if it was a double cannon and they don't pay the battery for that, then it's not going to help it. Yeah, there's the booster for the cannon, the booster for the shield. Um, a shield boost, a boosted shield can protect from large meteors and heavy cannon fire now. You could potentially boost several shields. Well, if you need to chain through wrong facing shields to reach one that protects that side. And then, of course, there's the engine booster. Add more engine power. There's the reactor furnace. So whenever you gain goods, you can uh, burn a goods block and improve get batteries again. Yeah, all the empty spaces get refilled. So let's say you're losing a cube because you're about to discard it from um, taking up cargo space with other stuff. You can discard it to the furnace and refill your batteries. There's a lot of stuff that requires battery power, so might as well might as well make the most of that. You can only use one block per furnace per goods thing happening. And then there's also combined components. We actually have storage that combines the regular and hazardous cargo. The cannon engine combined system. Yeah. More stuff. We got catapults. Um, when preparing a ship for launch, you'll place a blue block on every adjacent cargo component for that catapult. They are not cannons, but when calculating cannon strength, each catapult can launch a goods block. It gets +1 if as long as there's a forward arrow. Otherwise, it's plus half, which is only going to happen if you completely set it backwards. So we got two ways to burn cargo out of this game. Stasis chambers. When preparing for launch, they will have an additional 4 people. They're not available until things start happening. Say we lose the crew out of that one. Whenever you lose crew, you can wake up the astronauts from that stasis to occupy the the now emptied cabin. There can't be an alien there, um, and it has to be adjacent to the actual crew chamber. If you ever lose your last crew members, you would have to give up unless you can actually send the stasis crew into the new cargo area. If anything happens to this component while they're still through sleep on there, that too bad. There are only 2 of these, so good luck getting one of them. That's if they show up. Right. Cyan aliens. So these little dudes. Again, if you have a life support next to a crew cabin, you have the option to use the alien instead of the regular crew. Um, they cannot go to the starting cabin, which is standard alien procedure. Okay. When preparing for launch, in flight order, you'll choose one of the unique alien abilities: micro navigator, diplomat, techie, merchant, manager, and lawyer. You can use your cyan alien's ability only while the alien is there. If they're gone, then so is the ability. You're limited to one cyan alien per ship. They should be self-explanatory, but the rule book features some notes in case anything happens. New ship. So you probably have been looking at it long enough. So the 1A uh, is more likely to get hit because we've got the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Very cursed ship. Also, at the start of building, roll a die. So every ship uh, for Every player running this ship is going to have their ship oriented that way as the front. So yeah, there's 5 and 6. There's 1 and 2. There's 3. There's 4. Ship 2A. So you'll notice a little pair of numbers. Meteors and cannon fire on the front or rear are mirrored. So let's say a roll of 9 is, is going to affect here and here. Um, However, if you have large, let's see, the same cannon and catapult is called 7. 7 has no mirror image. So if it's 7, it just hits the center. Yeah. Also, it's worth noting that the 7 is down here instead of dead middle. All right. And now everyone's favorite, 3A. Very, very enterprise looking. Stuff coming from the front will hit the side up to a certain point. Yeah, this was one of the fun ships to see from the expansions of the old game. Yeah, new ships to mess with. The transgalactic track again. So the title dock is now a thing. Titles are worth more. If we're only playing with a few parts of the expansion and not using rough roads, or if we're using rough roads and everything but rough roads, which we'll get into. We use some more points aside. The new titles include the contraptionist. They're trying to count components that are functional because they're joined to the right type of component. And the aesthete is trying to have things kind of mirrored. So, like, you know, cannons, batteries, structure, engine. Yeah, for those titles, if they show up. Something I didn't cover with the base game was before an adventure card is flipped, you can give up. It means I don't think I covered it. Uh, you're stuck selling things for like half price. Um, Scores for titles are kind of the half. If you give up while successfully defending a gold title, you only get the silver side reward. Yeah, there may be times where you're in a very bad position, and you're better off cutting your losses before you lose any more components. Yeah, and finally, there's rough roads. Before the fight, each players must agree on a difficulty level, uh, and that's how many cards get drawn from the rough roads deck. So it's hard, extreme, and insane. Yeah. If you like extra challenge to the game, this is this is where it's going to be. Um, Things like this happen during building. So, like defective connections or connectors. When determining engine strength, subtract one for every universal connector joined to a one pipe or two pipe. You can reduce this penalty by removing any number of components connected this way. They fall off. Remorseless fate. Sabotage and combat zones affect all players except the one that has the most. It's affected, but cabins affected by epidemics must be given up. In Stardust, instead of losing flight days, components with exposed connectors fall off. Infected goods. Limited goods, the number of goods depicted exceeds the number of aliens you have aboard. There's one human astronaut for each extra block, even if you don't load them all. Yeah, that one of the important notes for this is do not use this when introducing new players to the game. And really don't use it with people who want a more relaxed experience. I just kind of want to you know, enjoy the game a little bit more. If you've got the group that's up for the challenge, this is what you want. Yeah, the expansion also adds some extra crew members and extra goods tokens. So yeah, if you already like Galaxy Trucker and you want more stuff, this this is the expansion to pick up. Keep on trucking. Um, I'm not sure if they've got other expansions out yet, but I think this base game plus this is good enough. So it again, if you already like the game and you think trying something different with it would be worth trying, go for it. All right, thanks very much for watching. This has been Pillar Nexus, the Ancient Gladiator. I'll see you next time.